What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tyrocco here. I hope you've all been doing great. We're coming up on the weekend. We're also coming up onto this spider tournament right here, which is for some more 4th anniversary stuff. Man, this 4th anniversary feels like it's going on forever. And I feel like it's more giving stuff to Plarium than it is giving stuff to us. But maybe that's just me. But this event right here, I feel like we're all just donating to Plarium, those who are actually competing. But either way, that's neither here nor there. I want to share with you all a Spider Stage 10 hard team that uses no Husk, no roller guard, no enemy max HP champion whatsoever. And it also doesn't need Kymar, okay? So if you don't have those champions, you've been racking your brain trying to come up with a Spider Stage 10 hard team. This team's the bomb. Like, literally, it places a lot of bombs, and it's really good, I'd say. So you may want to try it out. I'm going to give you all a few different versions, okay? So this has been fun. I've been playing around with it for a little while. We got War Mother in the team. Honestly, this is not the main team. The main team I want to show you all is a little bit more free-to-play friendly, no Kymar, everything, but you guys got to see this, okay? War Mother doesn't get much love in the game, and it's deserved. I mean, she's not that good. She's okay, all right? She's not booked. Either way, we're not going to bash her. I want to go ahead and show you all what this team does, okay? This is just team number 1. There's going to be 3 versions of this, okay? So full auto. Sit back and watch it, okay? So, number 1, Kymar is going to sleep everybody just to get a turn. We want to make sure all the spiderlings are falling down at the right time. We have Lydia doing all of her debuffs, Nishak doing the A3, not into the A2, into just an A1, and then War Mother exploding all those bombs. The spider now has about 50% HP, but it won't be like that for long. Kymar comes in for the reset. We have Mithrala coming in with 2 spiders left to drop down. Lydia is getting all the decreased defense and weaken, which the weaken is the biggest deal. Weaken's going to make the bombs do a little bit more damage when they pop from that War Mother explosion, which, I mean, we don't really need that much extra damage. She's going to kill them pretty easily. So here we go. We had 2 explosions. Nishak's dead. Doesn't really matter. The rat is not needed any longer. Once that spider gets its next turn, should be about the 51-second mark. At least it's how it's been the last few. Then the spider should just die. So here we go, 51 seconds, and boom, the poison's tick, the spider dies. I think it's a pretty cool team. Honestly, it should be a very, very consistent team. As far as the presets go for this one, just show the presets, and then I'll show all the champions builds and the gear and everything after this, okay? So Nishak, here we go. All just round 1, because that's all the spider is just round 1. So Nishak, we have Prince Kymar. Like I said, though, he's not needed. Like, we're going to use other champions. Let's set this to number 1. Honestly, I'm not going to use this team, though, okay? I have different options. War Mother, number 1 on the A3. I just had to show something more with War Mother, okay? I never use a champion, so I'm like, I think you guys can appreciate that, all right? So number 2, this team right here. This is the one that I want to really showcase, okay? This one is the one that I'd say is more free-to-play friendly. So we have Nishak, who's a fusion. We have Lydia, who's a free champion from Faction Wars. She's hard to get, so it's not going to be a beginner-friendly team. But free-to-play, I'd say yes. So Lydia was a free champion. We can all agree on that. Mithrala is a free champion from Hydra. Easier to get, I'd say, than Lydia. Renegade, pull her from Void Shard, so she's the least free-to-play champion. And then Helicath is a champion who we all got from a fusion, hopefully. Hopefully you didn't skip the fusion, but honestly, Helicath's not really needed. You could throw in a Kymar there, which will be in what's in the next team. You could probably even throw another Renegade. You could throw a lot of different champions, a Duchess. You could throw a lot of different champions in this spot. This is the main core of the team. So in this team, the setups are like this, okay? So Nishak, 1 and 2, he is in the lead. I'm going to show you guys something after this run that seems kind of weird if he's not in the lead. So while Mithrala's aura can make the accuracy requirements lower, it's kind of some weird interactions, okay? So here's Nishak, here's Lydia, here's Mithrala, here's Renegade, prioritizing an A3. She's 246, so she's the slowest in the team, which is going to be kind of difficult if you're having a hard time hitting the speed requirements, but she is 246, and then Helicath is 281. So this Helicath is actually used in my Iron Twins team. So it's Iron Twins Stage 15, 281. Like I said, you want to use Maneater, should be perfectly fine. A lot of different champions can fill in that spot, but let me go ahead and show you guys this team, okay? This one looks safe. It may not be 100%. If the spider does a big crit, it could get a little bit sketchy, but it so far looks pretty good. Nishak, the only tricky thing with him is that he does take 2 turns, so he runs through his buffs very quickly. But here we go. We got the A3. Make sure you typically don't gear Nishak for crit rate. A lot of people don't. But in this build, you do want him to have crit rate as well as crit damage because you want those 2 abilities. Honestly, he's not even necessarily needed. He is probably the best champion I believe to use for this role, but not necessarily needed. There's definitely some other options. But the A3 places the bombs on the big spider, which is probably the most important part. And then once those explode, it's going to be more poisons. So when he uses the A2, you want to make sure it kills as many of those spiderlings as possible, which in my case, it's all of them. So make sure he's landing those crits because the bombs aren't going to pop before the big spider gets a turn. And Then after that, you want to make sure that Renegade is faster than the actual Spider. Now you have Lydia. So if your Lydia is going like 260, 270, your Renegade can be like 243, somewhere around there. She doesn't have to be the 245 plus. So here we go. Renegade's resetting. The Spider is eating 2. Now this is very important, okay? Because the big Spider, if she eats, I'm not for sure if it says it here, but if she consumes spiderlings, okay, if Tainted Scavada consumes tainted spiderlings, she will not consume them on the following turn. So what that means is she consumed them previously. She consumed 2, which is the lowest number you can get. So she consumed 2 spiderlings, well, consistently get, that is. This next turn, she won't consume any of them. So we have a full turn to get around. Lydia places all this stuff, and then Nishak's going to come in, use the A3 into the A2. So now, once all this happens, okay, now the Spider, we have a few more turns. So we have a few spiderlings over there, a few spiderlings here. We're going to have a full turn to go back around. Right here, she's going to consume nothing. So if you don't have it speed tuned correctly, and Renegade taking a turn before she goes, then she's going to not consume those 2 spiders because Renegade's going to go after her. So Nishak's going to have killed everybody. The Spider's not going to consume anything. And then you're going to get around to the Spider eating everything, which is a very, very bad situation to be in. Let me go over here and see if I can pull up the Raid Stages tool real quick while this is running, because I want to show you all the actual requirements. We're on the Hell Hades website. As this runs in the background, we're multitasking. That's pretty impressive. Hopefully you guys like it. All right, here we go. So on this stage, you're going to need, let's go ahead and let that finish out. So on this stage, you're going to need 200, let me see. Let's go ahead and get this adjusted real quick. It's going to take a little bit longer, but we have Hellcat there for the block damage, so it's not going to be too bad. We have a lot of poisons up there. He makes it very consistent. The block damage, very smooth. Let's see if we got that actually pulled up. Perfect. Here we go. Like I said, I was talking throughout this. It's usually average about 2 minutes, but it's going to be pretty safe, I'd say. As far as the team setup goes, the 2 stats you're looking to hit are going to be 245 plus speed, so 246 plus to be faster than that Spider, and then 345 accuracy. So if you're placing debuffs, make sure they're 345 plus accuracy. And if you're trying to go before the Spider, make sure they're 246 ideally. If you have increased speed, you can lower those speeds a little bit depending on how fast your increased speed champion is. But first up, we have Mithrala. She's in a bolster set. Really, if you can fit bolster or if you can fit shield set on anybody, go ahead and throw it on them. It's just going to help your run be more safe, more secure, especially on champions like Mithrala, Lydia, Renegade, Helgath, who don't need damage. They're really just there to use their ability. And once you hit the stat thresholds, throw on a shield set, throw on a bolster set if you can. So first up, Mithrala, these are her stats. She's the second fastest on the team. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but I do like her going before Lydia because I value Lydia placing decreased defense and weaken on everybody a little bit more than Mithrala placing her hex on everybody. So Mithrala is bringing the hex plus the increased attack, which is huge for Nishak, and then a cleanse for some strengthen as well. So very amazing kit. Mithrala, definitely get her if you don't already have her. As far as Lydia goes, she's 250 speed, but 253. Make sure she's faster than Nishak because you don't want Nishak going before Lydia. The decreased defense and weaken not being there could just make things pretty weird. So Lydia is 253. She has good accuracy, good survivability. She's in a shield set as well. Like I said, if you can fit the shield set, if you can fit the bolster, put them on your champions. They're going to stack. So it's definitely very, very, very worth it. So as far as the skills, everything's fully booked. The masteries, this is what we have. I think it's for Hydra stuff anyway, so not that important. Now, Helikath, he is the fastest on this team. He is from my Iron Twins, 281, but you can use really any champion. Ideally, they're going to be the fastest on the team. So look at that first turn. Then Mithrala can place Hex on majority of the Spiderlings, and then Lydia can place it on everybody. It's best to have your champions doing the debuffs, like second or even third in position, ideally. But Helikath is 281, there for the block damage, obviously. Typical speed stuff, but this is his build for specifically Iron Twins, and it works very well here also. As far as masteries, he has none. So not really needed. If you want, you can go some. Just make sure there's no turn meter manipulation stuff. Then we have Renegade, which Renegade is actually 246 speed. She's a little bit faster than the Spider, 1 speed faster, but even if she was like 240, she'd still go before the Spider because Lydia is 250, placing the increase, 253, placing that increased speed. So Renegade should be able to get a turn before the big Spider goes. So everything else, we have the skills, don't really matter. She's only using this ability one time, and then it's GG. And then here, this is what we have. Now, Nishak is the champion who's probably the most demanding with the gear, but it's perception, so it's not super difficult to hit your numbers. HP, if you can make him tanky, go for it. But for me, I'm prioritizing attack to make the bombs hit harder. I'm prioritizing speed, making sure he's slower than Lydia, but faster than Renegade. Anywhere between that should be perfectly fine. And then the accuracy to make sure that it's 345, 335 plus, and then crit rate at least 100%. So there's a lot of numbers to hit there. The crit rate is pretty important because you want to make sure you're actually killing all the spiderlings. But if you can hit all these numbers, you're going to be in a good spot. Try to stack everything up as high as you can, and you should have no issues whatsoever. Here's his masteries. Let me go ahead and move my head out of the way. Boom. Okay, so there you go. We have a presser. That's for some dragon dual wing content. So I'll be doing a video on that within the next few days, closer to the dragon event that's coming up next week. So be on the lookout for that. So that's a team. I'll run it one more time just to show you guys how it works. And then we'll use the next team, which I think is going to be even more consistent and even faster. It's going to be the fastest of all three, I believe. So there we go. We start off Mithrala doing her Hex. Now we have Hellcath opening with the shield versus the block damage because Nishak takes 2 turns. So the block damage is going to instantly be taken off of Nishak if Hellcath opens up with that A3 ability. So just be mindful about that. Nishak's using multiple turns is good and bad in some ways. You got to be very mindful, especially on Spider, because if he kills everybody in one shot, then he's just going to spawn new Spiderlings if he gets that extra turn. So there we go. We're at 36 seconds, and the Spider is pretty close to dying, honestly. It's not going to die just yet. It's going to be about a minute and a half, I'd say, somewhere around there. Honestly, this may be a personal record with this team. It's actually looking pretty smooth so far. Some runs are going to be smoother than others, but I haven't yet came across a run that was, okay, we're probably going to lose here. So far, so far, so good. All these champions have like 3-turn cooldowns, which is what you need whenever you're running Renegade. You got to make sure your champions have really low cooldowns, or the run's just not going to work that well. Now, Kymar, completely different story. He resets the cooldowns fully, versus Renegade only reduces it by 2 turns. So keep that in mind. Nishak has 3 turn, I believe, plus he gets extra turns. So he cycles through stuff so quickly. Lydia should be using her A2 here, and then Nishak comes in with an A3 into the A2, kills all the Spiderlings, boom, or should get really close to doing it. Not quite, but hey, look, everybody's dead. But guess what? All the little Spiderlings have the bombs on them. This could be weird if the Skavag ate those Spiderlings instead, but since she didn't, not a problem whatsoever. So this team looks good. I like it. You can definitely swap out Hellcath. It's going to be best if you had Kymar, more consistent, but so far so good. I'm liking this team. It seems to be consistent. Now the next team I want to show you all is going to be pretty similar. It's not going to have War Mother though. None of the War Mother shenanigans. It's going to be Kymar instead of Hellcath. So here we go. Exact same stuff. We have Kymar going at like 280 something speed. So he's going to go very first. He's going to sleep everybody, and then we're just going to run through the typical stuff. Now, when it came to War Mother in that previous team, she was actually in immunity stuff. Immunity is very important to prevent her from getting slept. So keep that in mind if you want to build that team. But here we go. Boom. Explosion number 1. This team will probably be about 50 seconds as well. Maybe. Maybe not, though. We'll see. I forget how fast it was. I feel like it was one of the faster ones. Well, it should be. I mean, we have Kymar plus Renegade. Technically, I think you may be able to use 2 Renegades as well. You just have to speed tune them differently. There we go. Big explosion number 2. Kymar should... Did he already reset? I think he did, yeah. Oh, no, he's resetting now. So the first pop, the second pop, and now if I can make my Nishak just a little bit faster, this would be even better. But I guess we're coming right on the 51 seconds as well. 50 seconds, okay? So a little bit faster than the other one. But hey, there we go. We got 3 options, okay? You have the Prince Kymar option, you have the Hellcath option, and you have the War Mother instead of Renegade option. Technically, I think you can use Renegade in place of Prince Kymar here. You'll just have to make the Renegade probably pretty fast. You have to play around with it. Maybe put one in immunity. But you can play around with it. I'm sure you can get it to work. But there we go. Those are all the champions. Prince Kymar's gear. Let's go ahead and show you guys what's going on here. 289 speed, so just pretty fast in place of Hellcath, basically. War Mother is in immunity, and she is slower than Nishak, as she should be, so she can actually pop all those bombs. So guys, there you go. We have 3 bomb teams for Spider Stage 10 Hard. The team that I'm using, in case you guys haven't seen the video, is this team right here. 2 Royal Guards, Prince Kymar, Ghostborn, and Elva. 100% success, 30-second runs. Super fast, super smooth. I got the video if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, this team, very, very smooth. I think in the video I used Husk instead of Royal Guard, but honestly, this works perfectly fine. Elva places the block debuffs. Both the Royal Guards are going to survive. Though I actually took my bolster set off of Elva, but I could use Maneater here as well. I would have to make the Royal Guards a little bit faster. So honestly, my team may be a little bit sketchy because I don't have Elva in a bolster set anymore. Previously I did, and that's what made it safe. So I may have to try that out some more. This may actually fail. now that the Royal Guards don't have that extra layer of protection. But either way, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Taking a look at those bomb teams. If you build them, best of luck. Hopefully they work out great for you all. Make sure to hit those minimum stat thresholds like I mentioned, the speeds, the accuracy, and the attack on Nishak. All that stuff is very, very important, especially the crit rate as well, making sure he's actually doing damage. With that said, guys, thank you again. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.